Hello and welcome to this video, which is about the lover archetype. And everything about the lover archetype comes from the heart. So, is your heart open? Is your heart generous? Is your heart loving, full of compassion and empathy? Or is your heart closed? Is your heart fearful? Is your heart creating this barrier that stops not only the love coming in, but also stops the love coming out? And one of the amazing things about the human condition is that we have this capacity for our heart to be open or to be closed. And of course, that is the inspiration for so much of our literature, of our theatre, of our art, of our sculptures as well. This balance and battle that we have with this thing of how do we keep our heart closed or do we have to keep our heart open? And of course that relationship starts with ourselves. Are we kind and open and loving and giving to ourselves? Do we look after ourselves? Or are we cruel and harsh to ourselves? Do we drive ourselves? Do we not to the point where we become overwhelmed and that we become overtired to the point where it's almost like brutal and harsh to ourselves? Or are we kind to ourselves? And then of course that relationship then moves on outwards to how we are with the people closest to us. So are we kind and loving to those people, or do we hold back, or do we push them away? And then to go beyond that as well, how are we to our community, and beyond that to our global community and to our humanity and to the planet itself. So all of this starts from the lover archetype. All of this starts from the heart. And it's why it features so heavily in so much of what we do. But from a personal perspective, from a human perspective, from an individual perspective, the lover is really important, because lover brings about this idea of self-care, but it also brings about this idea of relationship with other people and the importance of boundaries, to make sure that we understand that we don't overgive ourselves or also undergive ourselves as well, so that there's this idea of right-sizing our contribution in our relationships, to be generous and at the same time not just generous with others, but also generous with ourselves, so that we can feel this sense of, yeah, I'm not overdoing it, I'm not pushing myself too far. Developing our relationships in a way that means that they have depth as well as breadth. And over time developing an emotional maturity over a period of years, where we're feeling that we have that sense of what we are responsible for. So this is where lover can support sovereign, or actually in a way the other way around, where sovereign can support lover, where we feel this sense of, yeah, where does my responsibility end, and where does this other person's responsibility start? So for me, the lover archetype is really tender. And there is also a fierceness to the lover archetype as well. So maybe perhaps a little bit where this connects with the warrior archetype too, where that fierceness can be where I hold a boundary really strongly, or where I can say to somebody, actually, no, that is out of order, and I'm not prepared to put up with that for the sake of the relationship, for also the sake of myself, but also for the sake of this other person as well. All of this can be incorporated into the lover archetype. And all I wanted to do today was really just give a brief introduction about the archetype in more of a storytelling way, rather than in an embodied way only. But just wanting to give you that brief introduction. So I hope that was useful. Lots more information on the Potentiality Coaching website, on the YouTube channel, lots of blogs. Watch my social media as well for lots of input about the archetypes and how the archetypes can support you in your life. Thanks for listening.